rage. This shows all the rage. What's going on, everybody? What's up? How's it going? Nice to see you guys on this 3rd of February, 2022, the month of love. What's up, Rich? What's going on? Vatos Locos forever. Welcome to my sauna, my non-working sauna, because, well, I can't fix it, and it costs like $1,000 to fix or something. If Spot was a good friend, he'd help me, but I have to order some pieces and like solder some shit together. I'm not good at that stuff. That's something I've raged about before, but I won't rage about it again. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, JC? All right, cool. Just waiting for people to get in here on the February of 3rd. I emphasize both R's. And I'll start off by saying thanks for everything. Thanks for subscribing. Numbers always start off low in the beginning of the month. That makes me rageful and fearful. Like, what's going on? Where is everybody? All right, here we go. That's better. Okay. So it's a little nippy. If my sauna worked, I could turn it on, heat it up, but it doesn't work anymore. But it's a nice day out. I'll show you. I'll give you a little peekaroo live from the west side. You can see they put the rooftop on my shed over there, but my stuff is still on the patio. But it's time to rage, Bill Jackson. And you guys could feel free to leave a comment on our Patreon, or if you're streaming live with me, be sure to chime in. I'll try to read as much feedback. Keep sending it so I can see it because it scrolls fast, but let's rage away. Today, I talked a lot about, the aftermath of COVID, and it feels like forever ago I had it. I know. I had it in October, October 23rd, but it's that lag effect. It's that aftermath, that shady aftermath that nobody tells you about, because I had it worse than most, right? So I'll get to the side effects that I touched on today on the show, but let's talk about the bills, the money, right? I get these bills and I try to avoid them. Luckily, I was still covered insurance-wise. The positive is I had insurance while I had COVID, right? So that's the blessing, that's the positive. Can't complain all the time. But let's say, I'll use round numbers for you. Let's say my hospital stay when I was recovering from COVID was $70,000. My insurance covered like $65,000 of that. So that's pretty cool. That's great, right? But I'm stuck with, $5,000 that I got to pay out of pocket. Not the worst when you were there and you got taken care of and you're okay and your insurance covered most of it. But here's the catch. When I was there, the hospital kept me for 2 extra days that I didn't need to be there. Did not need to be there. I was still sick, but the doctor said, all right, you can go home. You just need oxygen. You can go home with your oxygen, okay? So I'm like, great. So they spent the entire day trying to figure out how to get me oxygen, only to tell me by the end of that day, hey, we couldn't get a hold of anyone to provide you with oxygen. We talked to your insurance, we talked to everybody. We have no oxygen for you, so we can't send you home. The doctor won't let you go home without your oxygen. And I was like, well, I thought I was gonna go home today. They're like, nope, you're gonna have to wait tomorrow. So tomorrow comes, I'm really antsy, because every minute there I have to stay extra sucks. Especially now I'm in a hospital room with this guy with a giant head. The last 2 days they moved a guy. Actually, they moved me into another room and a guy into my room. And he was miserable, right? This guy was miserable. He was like dying in the room with me. It was horrible. So the next day comes around and they're like, all right, we're still trying to find you some oxygen. We can't really seem to find you that oxygen, but the doctor says as soon as we do, you're good to go today. You're good to go today. And long story short, another day passed and they didn't find anyone to get me oxygen to take home. No oxygen tanks. They're like, sorry, you can't go home. So 2 days, 2 nights extra because they couldn't find me oxygen. I'm like, this is a nightmare. I'm stuck in this hospital with the guy with the big head. He's dying in my room. I hate it here. I just want to go. I can't stand it here. I've already been here over 5 days. This is my 7.5 day here. I don't want to be here anymore, right? The next day comes and the lady says, oh, we're so sorry. The whole time we were calling the wrong oxygen provider. Silly us. You know, we just had the wrong information. We were calling the wrong person. Those people we were calling, they don't provide you with oxygen any longer. It's a new company. So we were calling the wrong one the whole time. We're sorry about that. The oxygen should be here later. You're free to go home today. So I'm like, well, that's great. So I stayed here 2 extra days. For what reason? Because they couldn't find me oxygen, because they didn't have the right number, because they were miscommunicating. Had nothing to do with me. But who's responsible for those extra 2 days in the hospital? I mean, my insurance paid for most of it, but I'm still paying for the rest. Why the hell should I have to pay because they kept me there 2 extra days? My insurance didn't care. They just paid. They're like, oh, what do they owe? Okay. But now I got to pay because these dummies kept me there for 2 extra days because they were calling the wrong provider? Sounds like a sham. It's a racket. It's a scammeroo. You guys following me? They kept me there for 2 extra days that I did not need to be there because they were calling the wrong people. How was that my fault? So now I'm paying for 2 extra days. I talked to my insurance provider about it, but like, we don't care. We just paid. I'm like, yeah, I know you don't care, but I still have to pay. And I'm paying for that. It's not fair. Gripe number 1, COVID. COVID bills. Not only that, get this, it gets worse. My very first initial visit there, when I was brought in, put me in a little wheelchair, I'm talking to the doctor, that's considered an emergency visit, right? And I was like in bad shape at that point. I got billed, let's say, $3,000 for that visit. You know why? Because that doctor wasn't under my insurance plan. Like, how am I supposed to know that? How was I supposed to know that? I was going to the emergency room. That specific doctor wasn't covered. Therefore, I'm responsible for that bill. And it's a separate bill. So my initial visit, when I got there, when they diagnosed me, I'm being charged pretty much primarily for the whole thing because that guy wasn't covered. So they told me I have to appeal it now. Have to appeal it now. And I have to tell the insurance company that, you know, this was an emergency. I would have had no knowledge whatsoever if that doctor was covered or not. You know, it was a hospital visit. How would I have known? So again, the emergency room bill is like an extra $3,000 that has to come directly from me. And then I have to pay the difference of the mainstay bill where they kept me for 2 extra days just to scam my insurance company. So the whole COVID thing sucks. And, you know, I talked about it today, you know, lethargic. I'm still lethargic. I have to force myself, but I got caught in a bad pattern, right? It sidelined me for a long time. I wasn't able to do anything for like a month, let's say, month and a half. And I think I'm better now. I'm still, I don't have the lung capacity I had, I don't think, but again, you get caught in a rut and I just don't have the energy or the motivation to really do anything, you know? And I don't mean work related, I mean like physical activity, like get off my ass, take a walk, get on a bike. You know, I just don't have it because of the COVID and the rut and the patterns I got caught in as a result. So, you know, I will force my way out of it, but it really sucks, man. Like it's like a downward spiral of rage, really, because then you just hate yourself and you're just mad at the world and mad at everything because of COVID and that happened and it shouldn't have happened and I was trying to play it safe and now I'm dealing with bills and I'm dealing with the aftermath and I'm still not 100%. I gained weight, I'm lazy, you know, all that shit. I lost weight, gained too much. It's been a back and forth roller coaster of rage. And I mentioned today too, the hair thing. You know, it's really annoying when Rich and Spot downplay the severity of it, and maybe it's coming from a good place. Like, Dad, what are you talking about? You're great. But it's so fucking annoying and rageful when they're telling me that I don't have something that I know for a fact I have, and that's, you know, COVID hair, because I don't know the real proper name of it. Telogen effluvium. Telogen effluvium? Is that what it is? It's just severe hair loss after illness or high fevers or like high stressful events in your life. But any time you have severe illness and high fevers, you could potentially suffer from this. And I'm one of those guys. You know, I got everything the worst you could possibly get it. It's different for everybody, and I got it the worst. And now my hair's falling out, man, big time. And I'm not worried about it, but it doesn't make me feel dope. It makes me rageful. It makes me want to punch somebody in the nose, especially when they tell me it's not real. Especially when they tell me, what are you talking about? You're full of shit. I want to punch you in the face because it's very real, and I deal with it constantly, and I deal with it all day, every day. I can't even wash my hair right now because it's depressing. Like it's not why I'm wearing a hat. I just chose to wear a hat. But I'm losing hair so bad, and I'm just hoping that it stops. If you look it up, it stops anywhere between 3 and 6 months. But again, it happens months after you got sick, and that's exactly what's happening to me. And I'm losing it at a rapid rate. Like every time I comb my hair, every time I run my fingers through my hair, every time I take a shower, my hair is gone. So COVID really fucking set me back, you know, physically, emotionally, mentally, now financially. And, you know, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, the hair thing started about a month ago, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm confident it's gonna come back, because anyone that has this shed, it's not hair loss, it's hair shedding. It always comes back. But man, it's weak sausage. Sad sauce is what it is. But it makes me rageful because, you know, nobody should have to go through this bullshit. It's horse shit. 70 G's because I had a fever? Fuck-out-of-here. Yeah, here's one. Fuck out of here. Yeah, you got lots of bills to pay. Fuck out of here. You're lethargic? Fuck out of here. So you can imagine how I feel when I deal with that shit. So that's all the COVID update. Can't believe that I'm still dealing with that shit. Knock on wood. I feel bad. I don't even want to talk about it, but this is the place to do it. The sauna of rage. Bills, lethargic, hair loss. And then you want me to prove, then Rich and Spot want me to prove it. Like that's not an embarrassing fucking scenario. Let me see your hair. I don't believe it. Fuck out of here. So what's the feedback? Thanks for hanging with me, guys. What's up, Ron? What's up, Kevin? Happy belated. Lisa, what's up? Rich, what's up? Casey? Bobby? Yours will come back. Mine, unfortunately, was permanent. That's great, Dustin. I'm sorry to hear that, but it is perspective, right? But I am going through it. Why? Because of this stupid virus, you know? And it didn't have to happen this way. And, you know, even if I was vaccinated, I might have still suffered in a bad way. You know, it affects everybody differently. Who the fuck knows? I hate it. What's up, Tony? What's going on, bro? So, yeah, the positive is I should still have my hair by the end of this, okay? All right, so that's the COVID bullshit and the billing discrepancies. You have no idea how annoying that shit is behind the scenes. All right, now, you know that leak I had? They said 2 more days yesterday. Yesterday they said, 2 more days, 2 more days. Today, they tell me it's gonna take 2 more days. So another 2 more days because they have to stucco the top and paint it and the chingadela on the side or some things. And then I was like, well, what about my inside of the thing? They're like, well, you're responsible for the inside. I'm like, well, my inside wouldn't have gotten ruined if it wasn't for your shitty outside. So now this is a whole other sort of discrepancy we have. A whole other little issue that they have to run through the board. Follow me. The leak came from the top. They replaced the roof. They're still fixing it. Had there been no leak, the inside of that storage shed wouldn't have gotten ruined. My doors wouldn't have gotten ruined. So I have an inside floor that was sort of ruined, a wall that was sort of ruined, and the doors are completely ruined. But they're saying, yeah, well, everything inside and facing your patio is your responsibility. I understand that. I understand that, sir. But my inside and everything that's my responsibility wouldn't have been ruined if it wasn't for your shitty roof that you're responsible for. Well, we're going to have to take that to the board. I'm like, well, you do that. Take that to the board. Like now, like stat. At least partially reimburse me for the doors that I have to have replaced. You follow what I'm saying? I know I'm responsible for the doors and everything inside my patio, but they wouldn't be as ruined if it wasn't for their shitty roof that they had to fix. So again, on the positive, it looks like they've covered all that on their own. But what about the rest of it? Everything is a hassle and a half. There should be more Susanna Hoffs, less Hasselhoffs. More Susanna Hoffs, less Hasselhoffs. That's the goal in life. What's up, Rich? They should be responsible. Water damage caused it. Exactly. I'm like, bro, you're not speaking common sense. You know, when people read their little rule sheet, it says here on the rule sheet, you're responsible. I'm like, you're not thinking logically, sir. I understand that. But your part of the building is what caused my damage. So how are we going to fix this? I have to speak to the board. Do that. Thank you. Everything is a fucking pain in my... Do you see what I'm dealing with? Now, honestly, I was going to get those doors replaced anyway. The guy that did our studio, the mod barn, was going to replace those doors, but they're completely ruined. Completely ruined now. So, are they going to pay for part of it? Because I have to get them replaced. And the floor, like I said, the floor, does it have to be replaced? I don't know. They're saying it's not their responsibility. I'm like, well, it was only wet because of your damage. I think you're following, but I want you to feel my aggravation here. Okay, thank you. So that's where I'm at with the construction. Meanwhile, all my shit is still out here, and I don't want that to get unnoticed. You know, it's really annoying. And then if you go in my living room, I still got all my Christmas decorations in there. They're not up, they're all packaged, but like all the shit that was in my storage is all in my living room. So I've been living like this for like a month. Could things be worse? Of course. I'm alive, I'm relatively healthy, you know, kid's good, I have a beautiful place, have kick-ass friends and listeners. Yeah, that's all dandy. But this is annoyances that nobody should have to deal with. All right, so construction. Now, this is doo-doo pie. Benefits. As you guys remember, I bitched about this last time. SiriusXM out of nowhere decided to say, yeah, sorry, no more benefits for you, without any warning. And just trying to find the right benefit plan when you've had benefits your whole adult life is like, you know, it's like a whole new world of something you knew nothing about. Like, I don't know anything about insurance and coverage and all these different plans they got going on and all these cheap routes, covered California, and all these special programs they have. I don't get any of that shit. You know why? Because for my entire adult life, I had benefits. And I went through my company and everything was easy and breezy. So now I'm worried about HMOs and PPOs and this plan, silver plan, bronze plan, gold plan. You fucking name it. I don't know. So it's just been one thing after another. And long story short, after deciding on one plan, because then you got to try to figure out, well, what plan works with all the doctors that I use already? You know, my doctor, my kid's doctor, you know. And of course you go to your co-parent. Hey, can you put maybe her under your benefits? You know, it's just a hassle because, you know, you're always paying out the ass. So all right, I'll cover this. Now, the long story short, let's say your kid sees a specialist or a child psychologist or anything, right? That may be considered outside of network because there's a good chance they're not part of the plan. And that's what's happening to me. And I'm going nuts trying to figure out, well, why isn't my daughter's specialist covered? Why isn't she in the system? Why isn't she in the plan? I don't get it. My other plan covered it. After doing tons of research and back and forth and what the fucks, I come to find out that when you have group coverage, like through a company, when I worked for SiriusXM, I had group coverage, they covered that shit. They covered that stuff. So I could submit a super bill and get reimbursed. In other words, if Melody has like a child psychologist appointment, I would pay for that out of pocket and then submit a claim, and then my insurance company would pay me back. Through group insurance, I could do that. through individual insurance, when I'm individually covering myself, I can no longer do that. So now it looks like if I continue to take care of these things in my life, then it looks like I'm coming out of pocket moving forward, which is horseshit, because that's a lot of money to come out of pocket for. And what's more important than your kid's mental health or their specialist or whatever they need, that's not covered. That comes out of my pocket? That's doo-doo pie. That makes me full of rage because I no longer have group insurance, I have individual insurance. I can't even get group insurance if I wanted to. It's not a matter of PPO or HMO or any of that shit. I can't even do it. I can't submit a claim. And you can't just like say, all right, kid, well, you've been talking to this person for all these years. You're gonna talk to someone new. Like, it's just, it sucks. Everything about it sucks. I don't have group coverage anymore because people are jerk-offs. That's why. That's my reasoning. And I have individual coverage now. And that's a blessing, I guess, but it still sucks my asshole. All right, so benefits, the whole dealing of back and forth phone calls, the whole thing sucks asshole. All right, so an individual and group, I news to me. I don't know anything about that shit. What's up, Lisa? Our health insurance is a challenge. I can relate. It's all draining. Yeah, you're like, is this covered? What about that? Can I submit a super bill? You know what the most aggravating thing was? A super bill is, let's say my daughter went to the doctor 4 times in a month. She goes every week to talk to somebody, right? Instead of paying every time, she would just bill me, you know, at the end, and then I would submit that claim. When I was asking other insurance companies if they do that, they're like, we don't even know what a super bill is. I'm like, this is your industry. How do you not know? Can I speak to someone else, please? Someone who understands what is coming out of my mouth? I don't expect you listening to know what a super bill is, but I expect someone who works in insurance to know what the fuck it is. It was impossible. What a nightmare. And I'm terrible with this type of shit. Not good at it. And it drives me berserk. Like the berserker. And now my battery's running out. It makes me rageful. Let me try this one. Welcome to my sauna of rage, everybody. That's what I'm here to do. Got a few more things going on that makes me rageful. Okay, this goes back to COVID slightly, and I won't harp on it because I never want to sound disparaging, and I don't want to put words in other people's mouths, and I don't want to, you know, seem like a bitter guy. I'm a better guy. But the Omicron came back, and all of a sudden that means I got to play by my ex's rules again. What is that about? In other words, I'll give you an example. Hey, I want to take Melody to Six Flags. I'm not allowed to because who knows what she could get, and then I bring it back to her mom's house. But I'm okay. I'm good. Let's take the chance. I'm okay right now. Doesn't matter what I say. What if she gets sick and brings it back to the other house? I'm like, we're playing by these rules again? What the fuck? So what am I supposed to do? Be prisoner? And not only do I think it's completely unfair to me, right? So, for example, I was going to go see Korn and System of a Down this weekend and maybe bring my daughter. Not bringing her. It sucks. And that might be a little irresponsible because there's so many people there. But don't you think I would have wanted to have brought my kid to the concert? She likes those bands. Now I'm not going to bring her because she's really not allowed to. I say she's allowed to, but, you know, everyone, I guess, needs to agree on this. So what, my kid's prisoner, basically? Until when? My kid's still prisoner. Till when? So, again, unfair to me, because what? I can't take her anywhere, right? Can I take her here? I got to ask permission? What the fuck is this? I'm her parent, right? But, you know, and then my daughter, even if I said, well, fuck it, we're going, then my daughter's scared and hesitant to want to do anything because mom says no, right? So you're caught between a rock and a hard place. And, you know, it's really unfortunate because, like I said, unfair for me, but really unfair for my kid. More than anybody, unfair for my kid. Prisoner, in my opinion. Prisoner to the virus and the over concern of it. Should we be concerned? Yeah. Do we still have to live our lives? Aren't we past that point a little bit? Yeah. You know, at least I think so. And I'm a guy who suffered greatly. So, you know, it's just the fact that it even has to be that way again. It's like, wait, so she's coming with me to my house this weekend, what, to sit in her room the whole time? What's the point in that? What's the point in that? So that's just annoying. Co-parenting is fucking for the birds. There's a bug issue in my condo, right? Get this, there's a bug issue in my condo. And before, when another person ran the HOA, they sent an exterminator a few times to help out with the problem. There's a new guy there, and he's saying, yeah, we can't do that. You got to hire your own guy. I'm like, well, that's funny, because you did it in the past, and then it became a weird, awkward scenario, right? So long story short, he's like, no, you got to cover it yourself. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. This is a building issue. Follow me. If there's an issue in my condo, which isn't coming from me, it's coming from the dirt merchants next door, if I try to fix it, the problem's never solved if the other assholes aren't also trying to fix it. So the building needs to get to the bottom of this to alleviate the problem. I could put a Band-Aid on it and exterminate my surroundings, but it's only working for me for so long until they start coming from the other jerk-offs. It's a building issue. I'm like, sir, are you following? Meanwhile, it's the same guy that I'm bothering about the doors on my patio. So this guy's had it up to here with me. He don't give a shit. I'm like, dude, I don't think we're vibing, me and you. Me and you are not on the same page. You need to replace my doors, and you need to get me an exterminator. No, sir, you need to get your own. Okay, I'll get my own, but how does that stop my neighbors and everyone else on this floor from passing their problems back to me again? If we're gonna fix this problem, everybody has to be on the same page, not just me, or else the problem's never fixed. Yes, sir. Well, these are the rules. These are the rules. I mean, your rules don't make any sense. This is common sense. If the cockroaches or the spiders or the ants or whatever are coming from the neighbor also has to fix that problem, not just me. I'm not the dirt merchant. I'm not the problem. I'm trying to fix it. But the rules, sir, the rules. Hey guys, if I don't read your comment, be sure to post your comment in the Patreon later on too, okay? So again, you know what? It just makes me rageful because there's no logic, there's no common sense, there's no listening. Hold on. I know you got your rules. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'll get my own exterminator. What stops the neighbors' bugs from coming back? They still got bugs right next door. Everybody has to fix the problem. The rules. Fuck you. Fuck out of here. Rage. I have some other notes here. I didn't like the passive-aggressive tone today. There was many moments on the show, lots of passive-aggressive moments that I bite my tongue for. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I used to be full of rage on the air, and I've lost my fight like Mike Tyson. You know, I used to fight with my ex, I used to fight with Rich and Spot, and I'm just not that guy anymore. I just don't like that guy. I just don't like that. I reserve it for the sauna now. But I used to attack, and I used to pounce, and when I felt like I was being cornered, I used to come back at him. And even Jordan says all the time, you should say something. Tell her, tell him. Why don't you say anything? I'm like, because it's not worth it. I'm out of fight. I'm out of it. I'm not that same guy anymore. I don't like that guy when it comes out. I'm like Mike Tyson. I lost my fight. It's not worth it. It's an ugly side. So as a result, you know, Rich and Spot, they come at me in weird ways where I used to be like in attack mode, pounce mode. And now I just bite my tongue. And I bit my tongue a few times today, and I didn't like it. And I wrote them down. When Rich said something about the behind the velvet rope shit, yo, I put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into the times that I do this. Okay? But he said something that rubbed me the wrong way. Shit happens. It's the show. I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it, but he's passive aggressive and I felt it. He said something about that insinuated I wasn't doing as much. Fuck out of here. Team numbers. Oh. Harping on that I don't know players' numbers? Like, there's tons of shit that I know that you don't know. Again, this was a discussion that we had today. right? Hi, Jordan. What's up?
I'm just looking.
You're interrupting me. It makes me rageful. Don't interrupt me when I'm in my sauna. She's laughing. Team members, that was annoying as hell. Annoying as hell. I can't tell you how annoying that was to me. Like, yeah, you know how many things that I know that you don't know? Like, all right, you're Rain Man when it comes to players' jerseys and the colors they wear. Fuck out of here! But I let it go. But it was annoying. Very annoying. But I was like, all right, yeah, the greatest. Greatest. And what was the other one? Oh, the whole Flores conversation? For the birds. We beat this donkey to the ground. Like, we talked about this for 2 days. It's a no-win conversation, circular. Nobody's going to agree. The whole Flores coaching, everything goes back. When it goes back to race and when it goes back to racism, and everything seems to, dead conversation. It's great to address it. It's nice to have an open forum and discuss and hear everybody's side, but it becomes circular and boring, and we're repeating ourselves, and I hate it. And we beat it to the ground, and you know what the response was? You'll see. You'll see what? What am I going to see? You'll see. So 2 comments. 2 things that I just want to strangle is Rich saying, you'll see. I'll see. And I'll probably be right. And Spot saying, to you. Yeah, if I have an opinion, to you. Yeah, to me. That's my opinion. It's the Covino and Rich show. Should I speak on behalf of Spot? Should I speak on behalf of Kyle in Pennsylvania? I speak on behalf of me. So yes, to me. And yes, we will see. Like, those responses to me, but I bite my tongue and I save it for the sauna for the greater good of the show. When my work ethic is questioned, when the response is to you and it is to me, yeah, you're right, to me. Yeah, I want to tell you to go fuck yourself. So that makes me rageful. But I try to be professional, and I hope you guys appreciate it. Because I bite my tongue, and I carry on, and I move forward. And I'm sure everybody does. Rich does, Spot does. But be sure to drink your Ovaltine, and be sure to know that I bite my tongue a lot. So yeah, I wanted to move on from a lot of those discussions. And sometimes, what drives me berserk? I specifically try to move on from just today. Today, great examples. Pay close attention to today's show if you didn't miss it. I busted out a mail package. Yeah, let's do some mail. Totally ignored. If you don't think that fills me with rage, then you don't know what's going on inside the mind and the soul and the body of Steve Covino. It's my sauna of rage, everybody. And thank you. Well, Rich in Atlanta was noticeable. You know why? The conversation was done. We had it for 2 days. And there's no winning. All roads lead back to racism. Boring. Done. Done. I'm not saying there's not a problem. Of course there's a problem. We're not going to solve it on our stupid show. And you'll see isn't the solution. And to you isn't the answer. We exhausted every angle. So those things are frustrating because you just want to put the best show out there every day. And, when you look at the numbers and they're not that great in the beginning of the month, you get rageful. You get rageful and you question, is this something that we should be talking about? Is this the fun that people come here for? I don't know. I don't know. And then you read the feedback. Some people love it. Some people don't. So you never know. The greatest thing Rich said this week, and I got to give him credit where it's due. He said, we used to live in a world where you can't please everybody. And it's true. You just can't. Right? Some people like the Mike Flores discussion. Some people were tired of it. But you can't please everybody. Today's world, you can't please anybody. In our show, we're the biggest victims of this ever in the past year. Can't please anybody. So, fuck out of here, fuck out of here, fuck out of here. That's my sauna of rage. Let's have a kick-ass free Twitch Friday tomorrow. And thank you. Guys, leave a comment. What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, The View. I hope The View finds Rich's opinions get into a battle. JC, Cliff, everyone expects to be pleased. You can't. Can't please anybody. Washington Commanders, sucks. Thank you guys. Thank you. Living with no one else, like no one else. What's going on? Appreciate all the people that subscribed. You guys are the best. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks for letting me rage. My venting machine brought to you by D's Nuts. I'm Keith. Thanks a lot. Dustin, thank you. Again, if I didn't read your comment, post it on our Patreon if you're listening or hanging with me in the future. You know, I'm sorry I'm being rageful. That's what I'm here to do. Sad sauce. Not awesome sauce, sad sauce. Weak sauce. That's what we do in the Sauna of Rage. We vent, we let it out. This is the bullshit and the hassles and the huffs. Less Hasselhoffs, more Susanna Huffs. Have a great night, guys. And leave a comment on the Patreon, and I will see you in the promised land.